Oh man, there's some peepsies here. Hey, people have been talking and I can't see you guys. Hi, everyone. All I can read was, it's fine. Hi, everybody. Shh. Shush, girl, we ain't starting that right now. Hey, girl. Hey, peeps. Happy Friday the 13th. So sorry, I'm a little late. I'm a little discombobulated. I'm in the process of making tea. Well, my husband started making tea. I think I'm going to pull up YouTube on my computer as well so that I can keep up on the comments, because I think we're going to have a ton of comments happening. And so I want to get a bigger screen to be able to kind of see what's going on. Hey, 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 hey everyone. Is peppermint tea sweet? Is it like...
It's a little sweeter than regular tea, but it's not sweet.
Am I gonna like it?
I really like it.
Okay.
I mean,
We're going with peppermint tea tonight as our choice.
put some in there and see what you think. And
What a great Friday. Looking forward to this all day. Whoop, whoop. Pumped. Before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know those charm-themed incense are supposed to be going on sale around June. Oh, thank you, Hayden. All right. I'm making me some tea. I got some water. I got all my books on superstitions, legends, and folklore waiting here to be discussed with you all. I'm super freaking excited about this. I hope you guys all have had a wonderful Friday the 13th so far. I know I have. It's been a great day. I'm making a giant mess all over. Oh, ball sacks. Made a mess. Made a mess. Hot water all over the place. But I got some tea. Got my tea. Got my computer. Just gotta sign in. Got my hubby. Got my books. Oh, yay! Happy Friday the 13th. Vodka and orange juice. Oh, girl, if only I could. I'm on call. So I can't. So pumped. New BOS came today. Yay! No Dr. Pepper tonight. I really wanted to, but caffeine and Dr. Pepper has been, like, making me feel awful. So I have been kind of staying away from it a little bit. What? Oh. JD bought a journal from Sammy. It's legit AF. I told you. I told you.
I did
There.
just cry, but you know how to make a journal.
Shut your mouth. Good Lord. Kevin Richard. Alright. So let's search for me on the interwebs. Oh, look. Pyperh's live right now. But I have to shut my computer up. It's so weird seeing me on here. Alright. I don't care. I don't want to watch myself. What'd you just say, bitch? Ooh. Alright, how do I get to the live comments? 38 people. Oh, they're back. They're over here. Okay. I don't want to sign into chat. I feel like this is just as small. How do I look at live chat? I mean, I guess I get to see a little bit more than what I usually do, but there's no way to make this any larger. Shut up, Kevin. Pop out chat? Is that what I want? Oh, yes. Bam! Look at this, guys. I know you can't see it, but look at how many messages I can see at one time. Oh my God. So if you're wondering why I'm looking over here and not here, I'll try to move it slightly so that I don't look too ridiculous. But I want to be able to see all your comments at once. And I feel like we're going to, have quite the conversation tonight. And so instead of scrolling on here, you guys can see me from here. I can look at your comments from here. Lavender and lemongrass tea on the go. Ooh. That sounds yummy. You know, I have got a ton of lavender here and I never thought about making tea out of it. I've done lavender lemonade. Let's see what else is happening to everybody. Oh, water. Yeah. All right. What time we got? 8:07. We're getting close. How are we on the topic of alcohol? Somebody said earlier that they're having vodka and orange juice because it's been that kind of week. So we kind of... my candle, my Woodwick one is burning again. So if anybody has any questions... Not any questions, any complaints, I can blow it out. Or it'll just go out like the last one. You know, after we did that, it's burnt fine. The last time, remember it went out? Burnt fine. Hello, Joe and Ro from Kentucky. Yes. Lavender lemonade was fantastic. All I did was... Now, I'm kind of terrible. I made, like, regular lemonade, like... Not real lemonade, like lemonade from the powder, like the country made. And I just took a tea ball, put in like 2 to 3 tablespoons, because it was a huge container, of lavender, and I steeped it in there in the fridge for about an hour, and then took it out, and it was amazing. I love your mug. Thank you! This is my mug from Tiptoe. Oh, dang. Ooh, that smells pepperminty. Hence the peppermint. Hey, did I miss much? Of course. No, you didn't. We were talking about alcohol, lavender, lemonade, and that's kind of it. It has a top. Yes, it does have a... It's an actual infusion one, so it has this that you can put in it for if you have loose leaf. This slides inside so that this lifts out, and the actual... it strains the herbs right out. But since this one was in a baggie, I didn't need to use it. And then you can have this on for steeping. It's great. I just started school for my certified herbalist course. Good for you, Sarah. Good for you. That's awesome. All right, lovely muffins. What do we got? About 30 people here. That's good. I love flower-infused things. Rose, lavender, a French woman taught me to scent my crepes with orange blossom water. Ooh. Good for you. Getting better in your math. All right. I'm ready. I got all my stuff. I got my bra on. Huh?
Be careful.
I was running around earlier. I got home early, and so I didn't have a bra on. And Kevin's like, you're gonna want to put a bra on before you do your video. And I was like, bro, for real. All right. Okay. So, here we go. 8:10. I gave everybody 10 minutes to get here. People will probably show up as the night goes on, and if they don't, that's all right. That's all right, guys. It's all good. We are going to have a ton of fun tonight. So, happy Friday the 13th. Welcome to Witchy Wisdom number 7. Tonight, we're talking about folklore, legends, and superstitions. This is one of my favorite subjects. I love talking about folklore and old legends and all of that different kind of stuff. Actually, when I had my old Book of Shadows, which is still downstairs, I almost brought it up, but it's like this thick, so I didn't. I have a whole section just dedicated to that type of goodness. Yes, you should turn on a horror movie in the background. Absolutely. So before we get started, and I'm going to reference some of these books, but you guys always know that I am a book junkie at heart, and so I like to bring up some of the books that I have on the different subjects that we talk about every Witchy Wisdom, and goes to show I do have quite a few books on the subject of folklore, legends, and superstitions. So while like I said, I'm going to be referencing a bunch of these tonight and reading out of some of them and whatnot. But so what we're gonna do is I'm going to excuse me. I'm going to show you guys the books, kind of talk about them a little bit. I'm going to start off by telling you guys my all-time favorite legend, and then I'm gonna ask you guys kind of what you want to do as far as proceeding from there. So okay, so let's get started. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about your son and your husband, Teresa. I hope everybody's all right. I'm sorry, girl. You get that vodka and OJ. I hope being here tonight helps to raise your spirits a little bit. I'm sorry, girl. All right. Okay. So, first book is called Monster Hunt. There isn't really I don't think there ever was a jacket. Like, it's called Monster Hunt. And it sounds really hokey. But it's by Rory Storm. It's actually really fantastic. So it goes through, it's the Monster Hunt, the Guide to Cryptozoology. And so there's a ton of different folklore and legends. So there's like monsters in North America. It's divided into different regions of the world. So like North America, you've got like, the Sasquatch, the Dover Demon, Thunderbird. Central America, you've got the Chupacabra, you've got Loch Ness in other parts of the world, you've got, the Bunyip, the Yeti, all kinds of stuff. And he actually does a really awesome job. So he goes through and he kind of talks about, he gives you a rough sketch, so you've got like Sasquatch. And so he gives you a rough sketch. He talks a little bit about the history and where, they came to be known. He gives like a little, the name, also known as size, footprints, home, origins, appearance, gives, different stories about him, or about all of the different things. So these eyewitness accounts, so it's actually a super, super fun book if you're into those, like the more of the monster type legends. Staying on with monsters, this book is actually called Monsters. This is from John Michael Greer, and this one actually takes a little bit more of a serious note. So it combines folklore with Western magical philosophy and actual field experience. So he talks about the 5 different kinds of ghosts, werewolf legends, the connections between fairy lore and UFOs, dragons. But he really does go on to explain all of this in a serious manner. And I've read about 3/4 of the book, and I remember when I was reading it, I really, really liked it. So there's like vampires, ghosts, werewolves, the fae, mermaids, dragons, spirits, angels, demons, how to actually investigate monsters. And then magical self-defense, so natural magic and ritual magic, because he is also a druid, so he brings that magical aspect into talking about monsters and protecting yourself. And then he starts off with on the reality of the impossible. So he's like, yeah, basically all of these things are, people say that they're not real, but he talks about why they're real and all this stuff. So super fun one, super good one. Especially if you're going from a witch's standpoint. I really liked this one. Next one, we'll go with this one. So I don't know how many of you listen to podcasts. Aaron Mahnke has a podcast called Lore, and he recently came out with season 1 of Lore on Amazon Prime. It's an Amazon Prime exclusive, or Amazon Video. And what is there, 5 videos? They're like an hour a piece. Yes, Shay loves Lore. For real. For real, for real, for real. It is so good the way that he goes about it. And so he's got hundreds of those on podcast form. But he did come out with a book recently. And so if you love Aaron Mahnke and you have a ton of fun with his podcast or with his videos, he's got a set of at least 3 coming out. This first one is The World of Lore, Monsters, Creatures. And this one has all kinds of different, like all of these are different stories. So like The Dead Returned, like vampires, Back to Nature, so more of like, I don't want to say elementals, but like nature type monsters, I guess you would say. I haven't got to that chapter yet, so. Our Other Halves, Beyond the Veil, so he talks about ghosts. You know, he's got Vlad Tepish there. So if you're into lore at all, I highly recommend Aaron Mahnke's book. It's a ton of fun. I personally am from Michigan, as most of you know from my apparent accent. There is a book out called Weird Michigan, and there are actually, I want to say there are books from most of the different states. Absolutely, Sarah, please make a recommendation. Go right ahead. And so if you can find the one that is your particular state, it has all of the different local legends in it. And there was the majority of these I didn't even know about. So I really, really like this one. There is a Bermuda Triangle type thing in Michigan known as the Michigan Triangle. I had no idea anything about that. So there's something in here that I will reference to later, but this is a type of book. If you're from Michigan, if you're not from Michigan, I believe that they have weird insert your state here. I think the most famous local legend from my side of the pond is Nessie. You live over where Nessie is, for real? Where are you from, Hayden? And while I wait for their response, the last book that I have in my possession is Scotland. Oh, Hayden, can I come stay with you for like a week? I want to go over there so bad. Is it as beautiful and wonderful as everybody says it is? Kevin, we're going to go stay with Hayden over in Scotland, okay? Perfect.
Unless you know some good bars.
Sure, we can go Nessie hunting. Perfect. That would make my life. I want to go over there so bad. Anyway. So the other one is the Encyclopedia of Superstitions. And this one's just fun because it just talks about all the little superstitions and where they came from. Like woodland spirits and what they are, different water spirits, brownies, fishing for luck, tips with tea, exam success, tempting fate, fertility, but they're broken up in actual sections. Hearth and home. So they're broken up to hearth and home, sickness and health, love and romance, engagement and marriage, fertility, babies and children, success and wealth, spirits and souls, magical little people, omens, good luck charms, protective amulets, numbers, calendar customs, and rituals. So this one, if you just enjoy reading different superstitions from different places in the world, this one's awesome. And it has a ton of different stuff in here. So we'll probably, throughout the night, I'll be like, let me tell you guys a random superstition. Bam. And just find one and read it to you because it's fun. All right. Let's see what I got. We're from Rabbit. Ooh, are we going to hear your most memorable encounter, if any? Yeah. All right, lover muffins. So, I am going to start by telling you my all-time favorite little piece of folklore or legend. But I want to know how you guys kind of want to go about tonight. You know, do we want to bring up things and then, like, you know, I'll tell you what I think, and then if somebody says, hey, let's talk about Nessie, then do we want to like have a conversation about Nessie and then move on from there to something else? Do we like, what do you guys would like, little superstitions thrown in between? I have my computer here also because I figured if we don't know a ton about something, then we can research it, because while I love superstitions, there's a ton of stuff that I unfortunately don't know. So does that sound good with you guys though? Like I'll be like, okay, what do you guys want to talk about? And then we'll just like, somebody will bring something up and I'll be like, hey, yeah, let's talk about that. We'll talk about it for a bit and then switch to something else. But we can only do like a couple minutes on each one, because otherwise we could probably go on and on and on forever. Yes, Moonstar, we are getting to Skinwalkers today. I already told Kevin, I said, hey, we have to talk about Skinwalkers. And he's like, I'm not going to be on video. And I said, Kevin, you are like, he's Native American. Like, it's your legend here. You have to talk about it. And he's like, no. I said, well, too bad. We can also add, yes, we want to add everyone's experiences. If people have had any experiences with some of these, absolutely. People on here are saying, please, Kevin. So when we get to Skinwalkers, are you going to come talk about some of your experience? Because he has 2 people that have had personal experiences in his family with Skinwalkers. So he's going to come talk to you. It's okay. Just tell him to have another beer. He'll come talk to us. I'll make my bomb brownie cookies for you. Perfect. All right. I feel bad. We're like 22 minutes in and we haven't even started talking about anything. See, this is why I have people that come on and go, I hate your witchy wisdoms because you just chat about nothing. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so I'm going to tell you my favorite. Okay. What happened? Where'd it go? I see Sarah commented something, but I don't see it on this side. There you go. Probably going to be in your head super creep, but totally have had to know you in a past life because it's easy watching your videos, and when you go on some tangents, I swear you're in my head. Not creepy at all. Promise. Not creepy at all. All right. Okay, so you guys ready for this? My all-time favorite. Now I have a ton of favorites, but my favorite one to hear about is the Jersey Devil. I love, 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 love the Jersey Devil. So the Jersey Devil is from the Pine Barrens in southern New Jersey here in the United States. The Jersey Devil has to do with Mrs. Leeds. She's an English woman. Her first name was Lois Leeds. She had married a Pine Barrens businessman. They lived way out in the woods, like in the middle of BFE, nobody around. They had 12 children. 12. She got pregnant a 3rd time, and when she was pregnant, not the 3rd time, she got pregnant again with her 13th child. When she was pregnant with her 13th, she cursed her unborn child, saying, I don't want any more children. If I were to have another children, let it be a devil. And then she ended up getting pregnant for a 13th time. Well, it is said that when the child was born, the child was horrifically deformed with horns, a tail, hooves, and when it came out, it spread its wings and flew up the chimney to live into the nearby woods, where it began its reign of terror, known as the Jersey Devil, where it exists today. So there have been a bunch of legends and local folklore surrounding the Jersey Devil, where people kind of keep their, and if anybody here is from New Jersey, let me know if like there's anything more, because I don't live in New Jersey. I just hear like what I've read and what I've watched on shows, but you know, they say that the Jersey Devil has the head of a horse, the face of a collie dog, the wings of a bat, the body of a serpent, the legs of a crane, and hooves of a deer. So it's like super hodgepodgey, creepy ass thing. They say he's extremely frightening. He makes horrible hissing sounds and piercing screams that can be heard around for miles. There are plenty of eyewitness accounts, and estimates of his size vary from small to the size of a dog to almost 7 feet tall when he is standing straight up. And a lot of people have said that when they see the Jersey Devil, it doesn't cause them any harm. Like, it stands, it spreads its wings, it lets out a piercing cry, and then disappears into the woods. There have been people that have lost dogs and other pets, and when they find them mangled in the woods, they've blamed it on the Jersey Devil, because they have found hoof prints around the dead animals. Like this one, a German Shepherd was found torn to bits 20 feet from where it had been chained, and there were hoof prints around the dog's body. In another account, a telephone repairman was working in the remote parts of the Pine Barrens near Pleasantville when a creature fitting the description chased him up the telephone pole. He stayed trapped atop the pole until a coworker arrived. He too saw the creature and shot at it, but it escaped into the woods. So, that is my favorite. I absolutely love the Jersey Devil. I think it is so interesting and creepy. So if anybody has any experiences or any other things to add to the Jersey Devil, please feel free to do so. If not, if you would like to name some of the folklore or legends or goodness that you want to talk about, and if you want to give any information about it or tell me which one's your favorites, then let me know. Why do you like it the most? You know, it's honestly, it's between the Jersey Devil and the Chupacabra, and I just feel like there's some of the most creepy, like, it has one of the creepiest backstories to it, and it's just, ooh. The other one is the Chupacabra, and I will talk to you guys about the Chupacabra later. I'll let other people have the stage for a little bit. So what else do you guys like? What is your favorite folklore, or your favorite legend, your favorite superstition? We could talk about superstitions too. Sorry, I'm real thirsty. Oh, shit. The Banshee, the Hook Man. When you say the Hook Man, are you talking about like the what is that thing? The urban legend? Urban legends. You guys remember urban legends? Are you talking about the urban legend, the one that scraped on the top of the man's car? Oh, Therese, I know that I said that wrong. I'm not even gonna be able to pronounce that. Oh, the Bunnyman! With the Bunnyman bridge! I forgot about the Bunnyman. Actually, Mankey was just talking about the Bunnyman, wasn't he? Was it Aaron Mankey that we heard the Bunnyman bridge? The Bunnyman's a good one. Yes, the Hook Man. So, Banshees, we may have to research a little bit. I don't know a ton about Banshees. I can say that I don't. But if you know some things that are super interesting, Shay, you go right ahead and talk about the Banshees. Bloody Mary, the Donkey Lady Bridge. I have not heard of the Donkey Lady Bridge. But yes, the Hook Man, if you guys haven't heard the urban legend, I'll try to go from top to bottom. It's not going to end up working. But the Hook Man, there was an urban legend where, no, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the urban legend goes there was a man and a woman, teenagers, making out in their car under a tree. They heard scratching on the side of the car. The man got out to go around to see what it was, and he never came back. And so the girlfriend freaked out, tried to drive away and heard like this banging on the top of the car. She got out, saw her boyfriend hung with his feet dangling, and there was a man outside the car with a hook. Isn't that how it went?
I think so.
And then he basically hooked her face. Something that's not 100%, but it's close to about that story. The Bunnyman Bridge. The Bunnyman Bridge. What was the thing behind the Bunnyman? Because there are people that go to the Bunnyman Bridge and say it's kind of like Bloody Mary, like they say Bunnyman.
Oh, the serial killer guy?
Yeah, he was a serial killer. That's what it was. He was a...
But nobody, it almost seemed like he didn't exist. Like, the deaths were happening, but...
The deaths were happening, but
was,
now there's no records of the deaths.
Right,
It's almost like the Bunnyman never actually happened. Alright, I'm gonna look real quick. Because the Bunnyman was brought up and a couple people asked what the Bunnyman was. So I'm going to tell you guys about the Bunnyman. Bunnyman. Alright, the origin. I just want the legend. Okay. Legend has circulated for several version, naming a suspect and specific location was posted and whatever. This version states that, oh yeah, okay, so there was an insane asylum. It was an asylum prison for the mentally, or what is that called? Where they're
the clinically insane.
The clinically insane, but
The
criminally insane. God, it's been a week. So the asylum for the criminally insane was shut down by successful petition, and basically the people were just kind of like, boop, let go. Transfer of the inmates, one of the 15 transports, oh yeah, so they were going to be transported to a new facility. One of the 15 transports crashed. Most of them, including the driver, were killed. 10 escaped. A search party was found, and all but one of them were found. During this time, locals allegedly began to find hundreds of cleanly skinned, half-eaten carcasses of rabbits hanging from the trees in surrounding areas. Another search of the area was ordered, but the police located the remains of Marcus Walster, left in similar fashion to the rabbit carcasses hanging in a nearby tree under a bridge overpass, also known now as the Bunnyman Bridge, along the railroad tracks at Colchester Road. Officials named the last missing inmate, Douglas J. Griffin, as their suspect and called him the Bunnyman. In this version, officials managed to locate Griffin, but during their attempt to apprehend him in the overpass, he nearly escapes before being hit by an oncoming train where the original transport crashed. They say after the train passed, the police heard laughter coming from the site. It is eventually revealed that Griffin was institutionalized for killing his family and children on Easter Sunday. For years after the Bunnyman's death and the time approaching Halloween, carcasses are said to be found hanging from the overpass and surrounding areas. A figure is reportedly seen by passers-by making their way through the one-lane bridge tunnel. See, now other people have said that like almost all of it's false. They can't find records of Douglas. They can't find records of any of the people he killed or his family or anything else. But locals still 100% believe in the Bunnyman. Yeah. All right, so let's see what I missed from you guys. I have a question about a superstition. Why aren't you supposed to point in a graveyard? You know what? Let me look. Because I don't know, actually. Anybody else know why you're not supposed to point in a graveyard? Why aren't you supposed to point? That was probably in my book, but I wouldn't be able to find it. I've heard of holding your breath, that you're supposed to hold your breath because the spirits will steal it. But I don't actually know. because I can't find it right away. Anybody else know why you're not supposed to point in a graveyard? It's generally rude to point. Perhaps you're pointing at someone, at a spirit. I mean, that you can't see. Well, that's true. All right, let's see. So we talked about the Hook Man. We talked about the Jersey Devil. We talked about the Bunnyman. Have you heard of the Donkey Lady Bridge? I have not heard of. We'll talk about Bloody Mary, because I see people talking about Bloody Mary. The Donkey Lady Bridge. Whoo!
How about Doll?
I'm like super jumpy. Oh, Kevin brought up Doll Island. We're going to have to talk about Doll Island. I know that I read that you pointed some stuff about you said something. I know you did. I read it somewhere about, oh my gosh, there are so many comments. There's so many comments. If I miss you saying something, you're just going to have to repeat it because there's so many. I'm not going to be able to get to them all, guys. And I apologize and I love you. La Llorona. I think that's how you say it, but I'm not Spanish. Oh, forgot about her. She is so, I loved that. That was my favorite growing up because I heard it in my 3rd grade Spanish class. La Llorona. La Llorona. Shut up, Kevin. I'm new to the Bunnyman. Barn gnome. In Norwegian folklore, he takes care of animals on the farm, and if you don't keep it in as good, he'll play is on you, like braiding the horse's hair in a total knot. Really? That's interesting. Pyperh! Do not! Butthole. Alright. There are haunted railroad tracks in Texas where a school bus was hit in the 50s. If you go there and place your car in the neutral, the spirits of children supposedly push your car over the tracks. There's actually quite a few places in the U.S., well, probably in the world, but in the U.S. where you can do that. When I was little, we always held our breath while driving past a graveyard. That is a huge superstition. I have heard that, and I was just talking about it, where you're supposed to hold your breath when you go past a graveyard, because if you don't, the spirits can steal your breath away. And basically you'll die. Growing up, we had the Goat Man. He lived on an island in our local lake. Wasn't known for much other than screaming really loudly. Haldra is a beautiful woman who lures men and women, if it's a Haldra man, into the mountains. Ooh. It's kind of like the siren. Is it the siren that does that too? What the fuck was that? Did you guys hear that loud bang in my house? Oh my god. Scared myself. Mothman. Girl, we got to talk about Mothman too. I loved Mothman. Oh my god, I have so many comments. I'm so sorry. Why throw salt over your shoulder to prevent bad luck? Do you remember the whole thing about throwing salt over your shoulder to prevent bad luck? Did it have something to do with like an evil spirit or the devil's by your shoulder, and if you throw salt over it, it like temporarily... I could be making all that shit up. I was gonna say like the salt like neutralizes the bad that's like following you, I think. Oh my god, Suicide Forest. Oh, I forgot about... I need a pen. I need to write these down or I'm never going to remember them all. We had like Doll Island, Suicide Forest, La Llorona. Yeah, don't make fun of me. There was a ton of other things that we wanted to talk about. Keep all those in mind. Keep them in mind, guys. I'm going to get to them. I'm just... Salt over the left shoulder to get rid of the devil. Yes. Down in these parts we have the Grunch and the Rogarus. And I'm in New Orleans. Somebody said bless you, Kevin. In England, there's Pendle Hill, where a large number of people were executed for witchcraft in the 1700s. It's supposedly one of the most haunted places in Britain. Oh, awesome. I mean, not awesome for them, but awesome that you have a place like that. Fairies, changelings, and how the fae steal children. I actually just read a book about that where where the fairies or the fae people would have fae babies, and they would come into our world. They would bring their children and replace their babies with, they were called changelings. They would replace their babies with human babies. So they would take the human babies back to be raised as fae, and they would leave their babies to grow up in the human world, and you never knew that it was never your child. La Llorona, whatever. That one is an old Spanish story, Mexican story. Was it Mexico? I want to say it was Mexico. Where a lady, now correct me if I'm wrong, because these are all from my memory bank, but as far as I remember the story goes, there was a woman who had 2 children, and she one day found that her husband was cheating on her. And in a fit of rage and torment and obviously, she took her 2 children. She lived next to a river. She took her 2 children and threw them into the river. Realizing what she had done, she jumped in after them and died doing so. All 3 of them died. So now she haunts the river, and people keep their children in at night because if they're out past curfew, I'm not even going to try to say her name anymore. I know I'm butchering it, but she will, doesn't it mean like the wailing woman? She will come back, and she walks in this white dress down the banks of the river, and she will wail and call to the children and call them to their death in the river. And it's really sad and really spooky. Piper, are you okay? I'm okay. You say bless you when you sneeze to prevent your soul from slipping out. I have heard that. I had a loud bang, but I think it was just a delivery. They covered the first Supernatural episode. They called her a lady in white. Yes, they did. There's a place called Wailing Woman's Creek in Texas named for her, that lady. What about Skinwalker's Ranch? Is that real? Okay, Skinwalker's Ranch. Now, wasn't that the one that was just covered at Ghost Adventures?
In Nevada.
In Nevada, they had a Skinwalker's Ranch, and it was super, super steeped in Native American folklore, and they are like petrified of the Skinwalkers. And it seems like, okay, let's get into Skinwalkers. It seems like because they're like begging, come here, Kev. Yes, Kevin's gonna come talk to you guys about Skinwalkers because everybody's like, come on, Kevin, please come talk about Skinwalkers. Here he comes.
I'll sit here. Don't have to show me.
Oh no, we have to show them. Hi, boy.
Hi.
All right. Kevin is Native American.
So the thing about Native American culture is that it's tribal.
Everybody's so pumped.
Oh boy. Is that it's tribal, so everybody has their own stories depending on the tribe that it happened to.
No, there are other names for Skinwalkers, right? Like there are other...
Yeah, I mean, you could call a Skinwalker a doppelganger.
Okay.
And in my tribe, that's kind of what it is but it's more like a typical doppelganger is someone that is you or looks like you, and when you see them and you encounter them, bad things happen. Whereas in Native American culture, a lot of times it's somebody's brought that on you. My tribe, it's not necessarily...
Somebody asked like a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So my dad was terrified of skinwalkers because he always felt that, because he had a deep belief in them, and he had a lot of kind of dark times, and he felt that if he were to run into them, that that would be the end of his life, is that if he ran into a skinwalker, they would kill him. And so if anyone was ever acting weird around him or doing something a little strange, he would assume they were a skinwalker in the form of
somebody
he knew. And it was my understanding, because my dad wasn't around for very long, but it was my understanding that that had come from an experience he had had when he was a teenager. Now, I have a friend who is also Native American that was at a party, and his brother lives in Chicago. And so they were partying, having a good time, and he was standing outside. It was wintertime, and he saw his brother approach him. And he was like, "Oh, dude, what are you doing here? Like, I didn't know you were coming up." And his brother walked up to him, and he blacked out. And then he woke up 10 feet away from where he was, and there were skid marks.
Like where he had slid.
Where he had slid. Like something had knocked him backwards. And, you know, he was outside for a smoke, so, you know, there weren't other people around to witness a whole lot of it. But, you know, he was like, he woke up from that, and he actually immediately texted me like, "Dude, the craziest thing just happened to me." And he was like, "I think I just got attacked by a skinwalker." And so, though, what are you doing there?
I ran into the door.
And so those are the two stories that I have. They're not terribly interesting.
I think they're super creepy.
But that's, from my aspect, that's my understanding of skinwalkers, is up here they're kind of more of a free-roaming spirit that's kind of like a doppelganger, shapeshifters, but they are not a good thing. You don't want to run into them. Like,
now, and they're also, because a lot of times when you talk about like doppelgangers, people think that just the word doppelganger means that it's a spirit that is taking the form of someone else, and if you run into them, it's a bad omen, and most of the time it means death. In Native American culture, is a skinwalker a spirit, like an old Native American spirit, or is it more of like an elemental nature thing?
It's like a thing. It's an entity. It's not something that
it's
was
like
once human, or like a. It's not something from hell or something like that sort of thing. It was never a person. It wasn't, and it's not necessarily a spirit. It's like an actual thing. Like a skinwalker is an actual.
It's a thing that continues to change
its own entity.
Appearance.
Yeah.
So, 2 questions. Is there anything you can do to protect against them? And somebody asked, do they try to kill you and steal your skin? So the name Skinwalker just basically is talking about someone else walking around with your skin, as in with your appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like that's more, they only take the identity of somebody that's living.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to see a skinwalker in the shape of your grandparents if your grandparents are dead.
They're coming at you trying to kind of like
trick you.
Yeah, kind of like the siren idea. They're trying to lure you into a situation.
So how do they end up looking like you? It's more of a and it's not an elemental, because elementals are totally in a different category, and they wouldn't even be fucking with you in that small way. But it's more of think of like an entity is the only way you can describe it, and correct me if I'm wrong, that was never human, that is taking on the appearance of somebody that you know in order to lure you in.
Yeah, and
so they basically live to prey on fear or
there's a couple things, and it depends on. In the tribe in Nevada, like you see with the Ghost Adventures episode, they're actually called to accomplish something by somebody. You know, a shaman
Yeah.
would call them forward to take out somebody.
In a different tribe.
Yeah, and
That's why they're so terrified of them, because if they show up, then it means
it means that
is...
somebody's got a hit out on you, basically. In some ways, it's kind of like a justice system for some tribes, where it's like, you know, if you really wrong somebody, their feelings of vengeance against you might call one to you. You know, if you're way out of line and you're thinking thoughts that, which I think is why my dad was so terrified of him, because he was into a lot of bad stuff, is if you strayed too far away from the path, then skinwalkers would be called to you. But there definitely is also that idea of, you know, energy feeding too.
So somebody asked, do they always look like someone you know, or will they have their own look sometimes? I think it really depends on, like, who has seen them. I feel like if you're seeing a skinwalker, they're going to look like someone you know in order to lure you in. Because if they look like whatever it is they look like, whether it's a black mass or some hideous creature, you know, that is not going to draw you in. That is going to send you running in another direction. But, you know, if I'm outside at a bonfire and my brother walks up, you know, I'm going to be pumped to see him. Now, another thing with skinwalkers, don't they take on the appearance of someone you know, but there's little nuances about them that are different.
Right.
Like, in each thing is different, but there's things,
it's not
like, I've heard that they don't have, like, their eyes are black.
Yeah. Well,
like, there's different things that go with each tribe.
Well, and that's kind of, because someone brought up something about supernatural, because, like, the shapeshifters, they're, like, shed skin, put skin on, and then when you see them in the pictures, their eyes are black. That's not necessarily it, but it's not a perfect copy.
It's not a perfect copy.
Yeah,
like, there are things
different. That if they were there for a period of time, you would notice. But again, these are things that are just a culture of me growing up. I haven't necessarily done research on what other places around have decided. It's just around here. You know, there was a big belief in skinwalkers,
and I think it's super interesting when you have all these different Native American tribes that have the same type of entity with different names. That I think that means there's something to it. Some people believe that skinwalkers are aliens.
Kind of like Tommy Knockers and Stephen King.
Oh yeah, Kevin's a big Stephen King nut. So, like, looking at a photo of someone that's been slightly altered. Yes.
Yes. If you hung out with them, especially if they were someone close, which they typically are, emulating someone close, after a period of time, you would be like, something's not right. I mean, you could definitely tell that something's not right.
Thanks, Bae. We got Kevin here. So this is, do you truly believe in skinwalkers? Do you believe in skinwalkers?
I believe that, I mean, yes, and a short answer, yes. I believe that there are multiple energies, entities, beings in this world that we are trying to understand as a people. And, you know, you have constant encounters, constant instances where we encountered them are, and then what they as a people have come to believe them to be. Whether it's a doppelganger, whether it's a skinwalker, whether it's shapeshifters, whether that's even a siren, you know, they could all be, you know, all connected in some way, but there's enough of them out there that you kind of feel like it would be, it's like you always say, it's a lot harder to prove that something doesn't exist without a doubt than it is to prove that it does exist.
Yep. Somebody else, no, this is actually kind of interesting. Can skinwalkers take the form of an animal, like as your pet?
I don't. I don't know why not. I haven't heard anything
think
like
I've
I haven't
heard
heard
most
of
of the-
like a limitation
Yeah,
as far as that, but
I feel like most of the time when I've heard of them, it's been a humanoid form, but I mean, there are the ones that you hear about that take the form of wolves, you know,
right.
I mean, other things than wolves, but a lot of times it's wolves or huge black dogs or, I think that's Harry Potter. It's close. Bae, you can get your beer and you can come hang out with us. You can also go back to the couch too. Well, thanks, Bae, for hanging out with us. It's the gram. It is the gram. My bad. Therese said something earlier that I wanted to touch on. Therese, I know that I'm saying your name wrong. We had this conversation last time. Okay, do you guys have a name for the ability to hear people coming about 15 minutes before they do? We call it, oh girl, I can't pronounce it. Vardozier? Again. And I've heard them since I was a kid. It's basically your loved one's spirits coming in advance and letting you know they are safe and on the way home to you. I hear the cars coming, walking, doors opening, or kitty meowing when he's not there yet. Really? That's super interesting. Because I feel like that's a lot like, I feel like that's a lot like one of the clairs, like clairaudience and clairvoyance, being able to like see them and hear them coming in advance. But it's really interesting that it's, I can turn this back now, that it's your loved ones that are alive, that are kind of, that you can see. But I would feel like it's a type of seeing into the future. But I don't know, that's actually really interesting. I haven't heard that in that kind of way. I have dreams about places I've never been to or around. That's actually really cool, especially if the places exist, because that could be a form of astral projection. Has anyone dealt with a huge black wolf that haunts you in your sleep and comes around at night and it toys with you and has the yellow eyes and tries to kill you when the eyes are red? I have heard of that. Like somebody had said earlier, the Grimm, but I really do think that that's big black dogs are and wolves are in all kinds of superstition. Like it tries to kill you in your dreams, right? You don't see it when you're awake. Because I feel like you could either, there's either a spirit that's taking the form of the black wolf, or it's some kind of message that it's really trying to tell you. My sister had a large blue wolf visit her. Now, wolves are, sorry, I got a text message. Will you text Brittany back and tell her that I'm doing my YouTube thing and whatever time works for her is good? Can Kevin talk about the Windigo? They want to know about the Windigo. Do you know much about a Windigo?
No, I don't know as much about the Windigo.
I don't know much about the Windigo. All I know about the Windigo is what I learned from Charmed, which I don't think is super accurate.
I know a little bit about the Windigo, but...
You do?
Well, I don't know enough to speak. I know of the Windigo, and I know, like I told you about the water panther, which is another one we have here.
Oh yeah, we have, now a water panther, is that the same type of thing as a Windigo?
No.
What is... Kevin, Windigo! So what is a Windigo? Do you have any idea of like how to describe it? Let me see if I can find it. I forgot that we have you talked about the water panthers up here. Ew, Windigos are creepy AF.
Well, yeah.
Ooh.
There's a Windigo in Stephen King.
All right. The Windigo is part of the traditional belief system of a number of Algonquin-speaking peoples. The Ojibwe, the Cree, the Windigo is a malevolent, cannibalistic, supernatural being. They were strongly associated with the winter, the north, the coldness, as well as famine and starvation. Basil Johnson, an Ojibwe teacher, gives a description of the Windigo. It was gaunt to the point of emaciation, its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones, with its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets. It looked like a gaunt skeleton recently disinterred from the grave. What lips it had were tattered and bloody, unclean and suffering from separations of the flesh. The Windigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and death. But what is? The Windigo is seen as the embodiment of gluttony, greed, and excess. Never satisfied after killing and consuming one person, they are constantly searching for new victims. So in the Ojibwe, Cree, Windigos are often described as giants, many times larger than human beings. Whenever a Windigo ate another person, it would grow in proportion to the meal it had just eaten so that it could never be full. Therefore, Windigos are portrayed as simultaneously gluttonous and emaciated from starvation. Ooh. Yeah, no. That just kind of creeped me right out right there. I've read that the Windigo is made by a starving human caving in and eating another human. That's what it is. A Windigo is created when a human eats another human. I think that girl, I think you got it. I think that's what it is. Windigo, I've done some research, but lore covers the Windigo. Oh, good to know. Okay. Draw across over their home and nobody could be out at night. Also, all must be. What's happening? In Scotland, we have the why you gotta say cool words that I don't know how to pronounce? The Cusith? A large, dark green dog the size of a young bull. It's a death omen, kind of like the real-life Grim. But it's green? Oh, that's cool. I could talk about Norwegian folklore all night. Girl, we could listen to Norwegian folklore all night. Charm, the first Windigo is created when a woman ate the heart of someone who had broken hers. Yeah, so it's basically the same type of thing where a Windigo is created from basically cannibalism. So I'm gonna bring up really quick the Chupacabra. I think that this video is gonna go a lot longer than what I thought it was gonna go originally. I hope you guys are okay with the longer one. Because if not, I can shut her down and we can do another, I was gonna say don't be cannibals, kids, because I was reading what Moonstar said. Anyway, I hope you guys are okay if this goes a little bit longer, because otherwise we're gonna have to do a part 2, which we'll have to eventually do a part 2. It's 3 a.m. here. I shouldn't be listening to you guys. Also, I'm easily scared. I'm jumping at my own shadow. I'm sorry. Chupacabra. I'm gonna bring this up quick because this is my other favorite. Have you guys heard of the Chupacabra? It's basically its name means goat sucker, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Pretty sure its name means goat sucker. Who's that Pokemon? It's a Chupacabra. So people founded the Chupacabra down in like Puerto Rico, Mexico, and he's spotted down in like from Maine to Chile. Like he's basically been spotted freaking everywhere. But most of the time he's spotted like down South America, Puerto Rico, Mexico area. And it started when people's livestock, cows, goats, chickens, were found with 2 bite marks in their necks, and they were completely drained of all blood. Like, there was no blood at the scene. There was no blood in the animals. Nothing. And so that's when people started finding the Chupacabra. They originally thought that the killings were random and carried out by a local satanic cult. The slaughter spread and many farms reported loss of livestock. Each dead animal had 2 puncture holes in the neck, which blood had been drained. Eventually, it was named for its vampire style of slaughter, El Chupacabra, Spanish for goat sucker. Sightings are common, although the origins of this hybrid quasi-reptilian porcupine-quilled blood-sucking creature are not clear. Some reports claim that the Chupacabra's eyes have the ability to hypnotize and paralyze its prey, allowing the creature to suck the animal's blood and devour its organs. So it's between 3 and 4 feet tall. A heavy lizard-like creature about the size of a small bear with a row of sharp spines or quills running along its neck to the base of its tail. It's a grayish-green, leathery, scaled skin, dog-like nose and face, a forked tongue, and large fangs. When it screeches, its eyes are reported to glow red. It hops in a familiar fashion to a kangaroo, is what was... Stop, and I don't... Is there really not another page? Oh, you guys suck. I watched... What was the old TV show? It was like Monster, it was like, remember? It was a Monster Hunter type TV show. And it was really good, but they did one on the Chupacabra, and there was a ton of people, there was a ton of people that talked about the Chupacabra and sightings, and this one lady, Jesus, had said how she was sitting at home late at night. She had her livestock, and she heard them all outside making their noises and whatever, and all of a sudden everybody got completely silent, and she looked outside and she saw a Chupacabra standing on her front porch, peering into her windows at her with these red eyes, and it gives me the chilly willies every time I think about it. But yeah, I always love learning, even though it's basically just like a goat sucker. I just love learning about the Chupacabra. I freaking think it's so interesting. Bats, but vampire bats are tiny, tiny, tiny. That's the thing about bats, is a lot of people are like, oh, it's a vampire bat. And it's like, yeah, but to drain an entire cow or to drain an entire goat, like vampire bats basically bite, they drink like a couple milliliters of blood and then lick it. It heals, on their way. They're teeny. To drain an entire animal is kind of an amazing feat. No, I know I know that you were just joking, but some people did say, well, maybe it was bat. It's like, no, like on the show. It's like, no. They're tiny and so cute. Bats are adorable. We're making bat boxes this year for our bats because we have a couple bats that hang around here in the summer, and I love them, and so we're gonna make bat boxes. Coming from Cuba, the people there found their chickens and farm animals have been drained of all their blood. Yup. Modern movies are all about cheap jump scares. Yes, they are, and grossing you out. And sex. They're basically like a horror porn combo is what most modern horror movies are, which makes me sad. One of the other local Michigan, one of the big ones that if you've heard any local folklore from Michigan, you'll heard about, is called the Dogman. And the Dogman is basically Michigan's version of the werewolf. We even have... He is?
Dude, I was petrified of the Dogman.
You were?
Yeah.
I never heard about the Dogman until I'm...
tall, super lengthy, like nasty looking dog.
Come here, bae. Come talk about the Dogman. I didn't hear about the Dogman until I moved up here. I now live in the northern part of Michigan. And until I moved up here, I didn't know there was such thing as the Dogman. But there is an actual song called The Dogman from up here. And my dad showed it to me, and he was talking about it one night, and I even have it in this book. But Kevin apparently was petrified of the Dogman as a young child. So why don't you tell us about the Dogman?
Well, there's not much to say. You're just
Well,
afraid of the Dogman.
Yeah, but I want to know
Because
about the
every
Dogman.
7 years, he shows up and he scares someone to death. Is basically he kills one person every 7 years.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
And then like disappears.
And then disappears.
So when you see the Dogman,
you
know that he's
you will
out
die.
to kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
But so like if you see him in the woods, you'll die, or like he will come up to you.
Well, I don't know if it's that detailed. It's not super well
I want to know.
Me and my friend were camping, and we had just listened to the Dogman song because it was that year that he was supposed to kill somebody. Because they play it, especially when he's supposed to be around. And so we were sitting in our tent and we heard these coyotes playing in the distance, like you hear often when you're camping.
Coyotes are super eerie.
Yeah, they're doing their eerie thing and they're yipping at each other, and then out of nowhere you hear this loud growl, like this and that's it. Silence, complete silence.
Like this was a true story?
Yeah. Like, this was me and Vince, and we were sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, it's a Dogman. He just killed those coyotes. And so we're, like, freaking out in there, like, oh my god, the Dogman's coming, because he just killed all these coyotes. And so we're sitting there for a while, and out of nowhere, this is like midnight, 1 a.m, like a couple campsites over, like these teenage girls just scream, like, ah. They're probably watching a horror movie or something. Who knows what they were doing. But it scares the hell out of us. We're like, oh God, like, he just killed somebody. And then we're like, well, that's okay, though, because if he killed one of the girls, then we're safe, right? Like, because he's gone now. But the vision of the Dogman is like this 10-foot tall, just like super lengthy, like super long arms, super long legs, just like nasty looking. If you ever seen the movie Poltergeist, like the thing at the end of the movie, kind of looks like the Dogman.
I haven't seen Poltergeist.
Like the thing that's like standing before the portal and like. Yeah. So
I would read this to you, but it's really long. It's like, I think this is the song.
Yeah. Well, and
this is I'm not gonna read it, but yeah, basically it's Michigan's version of the werewolf. Dude, my fiance's dog scared the shit out of me one night. His shadow looked like some messed up creature walking across the room. Oh. Yeah. But anyway, yes, Dogman is a huge legend here. And this is the song. If you want to go look for it, it's called The Legend is the name of the song.
And I wouldn't get too excited about it because the legend isn't that. It's not that fantastic, but.
Shut up. It's great.
So before I head back to seclusion, I'll tell you about the water panther.
Water panther.
So the water panther
so what's
up
the next
here.
year in the cycle? I don't know because I didn't know. It was
I actually
every
don't know
7
when
years.
the next year is. It's probably pretty soon.
Why you gotta be that way?
To be this year, I don't know. It's usually around.
You don't know. You're just pulling shit out of your ass at this point, so don't even start.
So the water panther, my tribe here, if you look up in the actual language, is Anishinaabe, and the Anishinaabe believe in the water panther, and a lot of us in this northern area with a lot of fresh water believe in that, and it's kind of the counterpart to the thunderbird.
There's a thing in one of the books on the thunderbird.
Thunderbird is a really big part of all Native American culture. It's
really?
A big deity, and it has a lot of...
Is it kind of like Zapdos?
Yes. No. It's...
Thunderbird.
So the water panther has in some the water panther has the earthly creatures, whereas the thunderbird has all things above. And their two powers are at war, but also complement each other in some ways. And basically, the water panther is what you would think it's a big cat, very very big cat, but in some instances it has antlers, in some instances it has scales, sometimes it has feathers. There's like a bunch of different interpretations of it, but it is the water deity, and also a lot of times is considered in control of all the animals, like the overseer of animals.
This is what they have.
But it's not necessarily like if you run into the water panther, it's going to come out and get you. It's like
more of a
it's like a
nature
godlike,
spirit.
yeah. Like if you were to run into a natural spirit, is personification of nature.
Guessing it's not like the Thunderbird from Fantastic Beasts. Probably not. This is a Thunderbird they have, which is the counterpart.
Like the Aztecs have Quetzalcoatl, which is.
I feel like that was in here.
I'm sure it probably is.
Mm.
Because that was also a thunderbird. A lot of the like southern tribes and also like Aztecs had.
According to tribes, the Thunderbird would soar down, seize its victim by the shoulders, carry him or her away to be devoured on a nearby ledge or lofty perch. Nasty ass bird. And their wingspan from tip to tip can be 15 to 18 feet.
That's a mean bird.
It's mainly in Pennsylvania. So, sorry, Pennsylvania, I'm staying up here. It's condor-like bird. Ooh. It's similar to a pterodactyl. Maybe it's a living pterodactyl. Maybe pterodactyls made it and there's like one left. What does that sound? It sounds like coffee percolating. It's my woodwick candle. And it sounds like burning wood. I can blow it out if it's bothering anybody. What book is that? This book is called Monster Hunt by Rory Storm. If you guys are interested in any of the books, I talked about them also a little bit at the beginning. According to Google, the last year of the Dogman cycle was 2015. So we've got till 2022, so we've got a while. Good, because I don't really want to.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because like 2001.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, what was the original year of the Dogman? See, now this talks about a 10-year cycle in the song. He says in 37, 57, 67, 77, 87. It could be. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, to be honest. Have you heard of the Mako lights? You'll have to remind me, because it sounds familiar, but it's not anything that I can readily talk about. I just feel like I've heard it. I'm Irish partly. The Wailing Irish Banshee, though, I think there's multiple versions, like most legend and folklore. Oh yeah, we were going to talk about the Banshee. But I have to look up the Banshee because I believe the Banshee is basically a woman that had her heart broken, and she turns into Is a Banshee very similar to a siren, where she turns into basically a wicked creature that calls to men?
Kinda, yeah.
And brings them in and then kills them? Let's see. Piper, what you chasing? Oh, is that Patches? let's see. Banshee screams to announce their death. Banshees scream to announce. Sirens call men. Banshees, when you hear a banshee scream, then... So basically, banshee means in Irish, woman of the fairy mound or fairy woman. It's a female spirit in Irish mythology who heralds the death of a family member, usually by wailing, shrieking, or keening. Her name is connected to the mythologically important tumuli or mounds that dot the Irish countryside, which are known as the She in Old Irish. That's what it was. Sometimes she has long streaming hair and wears a gray cloak over a green dress. Her eyes are red from continual weeping. She may be dressed in white with red hair and a ghastly complexion. So she basically screams or sings to, or cries, wails, to announce the death of in the family. That's what a banshee was. I knew that I was getting them mixed up. The video stopped. No. Why did the video stop? Did everybody's video stop? Banshee equals PMS. Yes, different banshees attach themselves to a specific family, and there are multiple versions. It's a spirit that announces death. Her scream is supposed to be the most scary wail you've ever heard. The most scary wail I ever heard was when I ran over my dog. He lived, but it was a horrible scream. I didn't know dogs could scream like that, but it was terrible.
I feel like banshees come from foxes and owls and bobcats.
Oh, that's true. If you're talking about, if you want to be for real about where these come from, Kevin said foxes, owls, and bobcats have horrible, horrible screeches that could also... They're owls. There are certain owls that people will call the police because they think someone's being murdered.
Barn owls.
Barn owls, my favorite, because of their screeches.
They call
That's horrible. I'm so sorry about your doggy. Thank you. It was like 15 years ago, but yeah, it was really bad. Oh, the Mako lights. Yeah, forgot. What'd you say?
Said they also call the police saying there's monkeys
and monkeys, yeah.
because of barn owls.
The Mako lights for over a century, mysterious lights were seen bobbing up and down along the railroad tracks near Mako Station, a few miles west of Wilmington. When anyone approached the lights, they would disappear. Ooh, that's interesting. See, I thought it was something along those lines, but what's your favorite scary movie? Oh, no. What's my favorite scary movie?
Amityville Horror. That's your favorite scary book.
My favorite scary movie.
I don't know, because you read Amityville Horror.
I think Amityville Horror is my favorite scary, thing. When you're talking about, movies and books and you want to talk about, premises, Amityville Horror is just one of my favorites. If you want to talk about movies, I'd have to say probably between The Fourth Kind and what was the other ones? The series that went on for way too long. That was Paranormal Activity. I know a lot of people didn't like them, but I really enjoyed Paranormal Activity. Scared the fucking shit out of me. Fourth Kind, if you haven't watched it, was scary as shit, and Mia Jovovich did an awesome job of it. A lot of the other horror movies that I like aren't really horror, they're more like horror action. Like the Resident Evil movies, the Underworld movies, none of those are really horror movies. But, actually, Sinister is another one that my family, my brother and I really, really liked. Okay, Doll Island. Somebody brought up Doll Island. Okay. Doll Island is an island in, is it Mexico?
South America.
South America. Ghost Adventures went there. But there was I'm gonna screw this one up. I might have to actually look up the thing. Blair Witch. Oh, the Blair Witch is another one that I love reading about. Anyway, Doll Island. You know what? Let me just look it up because I want to give you. I know the gist of Doll Island, and it's really fucking creepy. And if you guys have a chance, it is Mexico. I highly recommend you look up pictures of Doll Island, or I'll show you pictures. I guess I can show you pictures, because they're really, really, really bad. Well, they're not really, really bad, but they're really bad. Whatever. So, Mexico's haunted Doll Island, where a little girl. So Julian Santana Barrera retreated to a remote wooded area in this place I can't pronounce, Mexico City, to live out the rest of his life as a recluse. It is an island, and he could only get to it by boat. So he went to go live there for the rest of his life. He discovered the corpse of a young girl one day washed up on the shore of the island. And floating along with the dead young girl, what? Okay. Floating along with the young girl was the toy doll that she left behind. Barrera began to hear footsteps in the night and anguished wails of a woman after he hung the doll from a tree. So he continued to hang other toy dolls from the trees in the Chinampas, I don't know, area to appease her, the little girl's spirit, for over 50 years. His family now runs the area as a tourist attraction where visitors hang other dolls and claim to hear their whispering. Now, when he would find dolls, the thing that makes the island so creepy is that all of the dolls that he hung were dolls that he found washed up on his shore. He didn't like leave the island to go buy dolls and bring them back. Anytime that you saw a doll that was hung, now nowadays there's, like they said, there's probably more because of visitors, but you know, they would be dolls that had washed up. So I'm just going to show you guys. I don't know how well these pictures are going to be because. So these are pictures of Doll Island. Yeah, for real, guys. And so Ghost Adventures went here. But yeah, I highly recommend looking up pictures of them and in the Ghost Adventures episode if you have a chance, because it was really good and it was really interesting. And it was really creepy. Let's see what else there is for my lovers. I mentioned Blair Witch and my backpack fell over. Girl, Blair Witch is coming after you. I'm too wimpy to look up things on my own at night. I only look them up when Kevin's here. Locals won't go there anymore. I don't blame them. If you ever visit Texas, you should stay at the Emily Morgan Hotel across the street from the Alamo. I stayed there and woke up to sounds of a cannon and muskets firing. Well, that's really interesting. Why hang the doll in the first place? Who comes around across a dead body and a doll and thinks, I should hang this up? I think, because they were kind of skipping through stuff, I think what he did is he saw the little girl, he saw the doll. I want to say that he buried her and left the doll, and the little girl's spirit was haunting him in his home, well, in his shack. And so to try to appease her, he got the doll and hung it from a tree. Like, I think it was for her to play with, or there was I don't remember the rationale. There was a reason that he hung it in the tree. And it appeased her for a while, and then it started to haunt her again, or it began to haunt him again, and so he started collecting more and more dolls to try to appease this little girl. The Shadow Man. When I was 4 years old, I had a horrible fear of her, and my parents took me to the hospital in the back of the car. His hand was making a beckoning motion with his finger. Ooh, stop. For real? Like in your car? Saging now, I'm not dealing with no demon. Shay's got the Blair Witch at her house. I believe that one night...
Maybe we won't stay there.
Huh?
Maybe we won't stay there.
Yeah, we're not... No, that was Hayden. That's over in Scotland. Yeah, Shay, we ain't going to your house, girl. Sorry. I believe that one night you saw or heard the little girl crying, and that she was crying because she wanted her doll. Okay. He was like, hey, little girl, here's a doll. He went cray-cray and kept hanging dolls to keep her from haunting him. Yeah, basically. There's no creek. There's a creek not too far. Oh, save me. Girl, I'm saving you. And you stay away from that creek. You got La Llorona. La Llorona that's going to try to drag you into the creek along with your Blair Witch. And you be careful of the Dogman and the Chupacabra. I have to poop. I think I'm going to go snuggle with Nessie so I don't get scared. Some of the stuff is spooky. I know, but guys, it's Friday the 13th. Look, we've already been talking for an hour and a half. I knew that this was going to be a long episode. And I also know that there's definitely going to have to be a part 2 to this because this has been a really fun one. This has been a ton of fun. I wonder if, you know what? Have you ever had a doll that acted funny or weird? I have a witch doll. Has to be with my books or bad things will happen. Yeah. Dolls can absolutely hold spirits and be haunted by spirits. I'm gonna look at something on my calendar and just see. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna work for you guys or not. I don't know if we want to do superstitions in succession, but July 13th. Yeah, July 13th is another Friday, and so we could take the next Friday the 13th. Not that we have to leave right now, but I just mean we can take the next Friday the 13th, which is in a couple months, and do the part 2 to keep the Friday the 13th. Hey, yeah, there you go, Draven. That's exactly what I was saying. To keep the stuff alive, because there's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of stuff. I'm gonna read you guys some superstitions quick because I haven't even touched this book. I'm just gonna open the random stuff. So apparently you should never leave a rocking chair rocking when it's empty, as it is thought to tempt evil spirits to empty your house. Oh, Shay, you're right. We do have to cover. I thought about that before I started this, and I was like, I have to talk about elementals for Mystic because Mystic couldn't be here today, and I have to talk about it. So we will talk about elementals. Anyway, to banish evil spirits, walk around your house 3 times backward and counterclockwise before sunset on Halloween. Mothman. A buzzing in your ear means that a soul in purgatory is calling for a prayer. Ooh. If a dog howls at night or scratched holes in the ground as though digging a grave, it was anticipating a death. If your geese, if anybody has geese, if they cackle late at night, your house is going to be robbed. This is interesting. Thought you guys should know that the whole superstition behind cats having 9 lives. Cats are rumored to have 9 lives because they seem to survive when they are taking great risks, such as leaping or falling from great heights. But in the 16th century, it was believed that this happened because a witch could inhabit the body of a cat 9 times. However, the origins of this superstition could go back as far as ancient Egypt. The priesthood of Heliopolis worshipped Atum Ra, a sun god. Ra gave life to the 4 gods of the earth, air, water, and sky. In turn, they produced Osiris, Isis, Seth, and I can never say this one.
Nephthys.
Yeah. Nephthys. Nephthys.
Nephthys.
I know what it is, I just can't pronounce it. The two groups of 4 plus Atum Ra formed the Need, or the Nine, and Atum Ra embodied all 9 lives. When he visited the underworld, he was believed to take the form of a cat. All right. Tightness can be caused by consuming too much sodium. Magnesium is supposed to help. I'm so ticked now. Why? What happened? A common superstition here is you place a silver coin in the palm of a newborn to ensure wealth and prosperity in life. A lot of people still do it. Well, that's fun. I will need to try that. So let's talk. Thank you. White noise was the only thing that helped. Oh, I missed something. I must have missed some stuff. All right. So let's talk a little bit about elementals. Elementals aren't really folklore or legend-esque. They go more along the lines of ghosts, spirits, demons, nature entities. But Mystic wanted me to mention elementals. So, sir, you want to join in the elemental conversation?
No, it's about elementals.
Oh, you're gay. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. It just popped out. I'm sorry. I know that that's really offensive. I'm sorry. It is offensive. It's offensive. It's offensive nowadays. I gotta watch what I say. My best friend's gay, so I don't know if that matters.
So you're okay.
Yeah, I can say it. I'm just kidding. Kevin, you are so mean. So basically, elementals, and I did talk about this in another Witchy Wisdom episode. Elementals are not human, have never been human. They are extremely powerful entities. They are not good, they are not evil, they just are. They are created from actual earthly energies. Like the earth itself created them, which hence the name elementals. They are normally created to guard some kind of sacred space on Earth. So, you know, there may be elementals at Stonehenge. There may be elementals, you know, at particular areas that happen to have either ley lines that cross or just areas that have a ton of energy or sacred space in general. But they are created from actual earthly energies. So you have ghosts, spirits that are created from human energies, human soul. You have, quote, demons that were, or could, most of the time, are created from the anguish, the hatred, the horrible emotions that come from humans, and over time they create like this basically black mass of horribleness that has a conscience or a consciousness. And then you have elementals that are a powerful entity that are created from the earth. Now, it's not saying that elementals can't be called upon, but they are very dangerous to work with because they don't really have, like, you don't know what you're going to get from them. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really have, I don't want to say a consciousness, but what am I trying to say? Like, their power is almost unknown. Like, it's just too much for us to comprehend. And so to call on them is almost disrespectful to a point.
They don't have an intelligence to discern. It's like if you send positive you get positive. You send negative, you get, like, it's like a positive negative reaction,
not like a, hey, I'm an elemental and I'm thinking. It's more of
I'm gonna pause and ponder.
It's more of
how
a
I should
reaction
handle this,
that
this
they have because they're
situation. It's
created.
like a action reaction.
Yeah, and it's more like an action reaction, like he's saying. So they're created to do a specific thing. You know, so let's just say that you know, they're created to protect Stonehenge. So if somebody goes forth into Stonehenge with negative intentions, it's kind of like, okay, well, you have the potential to be horribly attacked by an elemental because it's picking up on your negative intentions. You know, it's not looking at your emotions and looking at, like, well, why is this person thinking this way? Why is this person entering Stonehenge with this negative? Like, it's like, no, negative, coming into the sacred space, not having it, boom. So they're, and I'm not an expert on elementals, but that's kind of what elementals don't experience human emotions or experiences. No, they don't. They're almost above human emotions. You know, they don't have, you know, the soul that we have. They never had a human experience. You know, they were created from the earth, from the elements, to protect something, to stand guard over something. And so it's basically, like Kevin said, like an action reaction thing. So it's not really, like Kayla said, you know, so they don't have a sense of judgment. Not really. Not in the sense that we have a sense of judgment, if that makes sense. You know, we can think about, you know, we have morals. We can discern the difference between what's right and what's wrong, and they go more off of energy. You know, they will read the energy of somebody coming into a space, and that's what they go off of, because they don't have that right or wrong. It's like, okay, I was put here to protect this space. Kind of think of it almost like a I'm thinking of it kind of like a Titan or like a golem. Like it's just it's basically a like a gargoyle almost. Not a gargoyle, but think of it in that terms. You know, they're placed somewhere to protect a particular thing, or to stand guard, or to keep away. Yep, like M said, protected or program for limited functions. And so if something trips them, then it's like action mode. And people can call upon them, and people can work with elementals, but it's difficult to do, because kind of like if you're working with a human spirit or a ghost, not a good idea. But if you do work with ghosts and you are skilled in being able to do that, you know, ghosts are, you know, humans. They were once human, and so they have those human emotions, which a lot of reasons why they're still here. So they're a tad bit easier to work with than, you know, if you're calling forth a demon, you know basically what you're getting there, nothing but anguish and pain and suffering. But if you're calling forth an elemental, and you know you're calling them forth for a particular reason, and you have the know-abouts on how to do that, and I would never suggest doing it, then you don't know what's coming, because like I said, they don't work with you like a human spirit does. They're programmed for something. That was disrespectful. What was disrespectful? What did I do? All I read was that was disrespectful, and now I feel like I did something. I'm sorry. She could have said so. Oh, not you. Okay. I was gonna say, what did I do? what did I do? I'm sorry. Any idea what they look like? Honestly, I don't. because I don't really know if people see elementals. It's more of a sensation thing. It's more of a invisibility, like, I don't want to say invisibility, but it's more of a, I would think that it's more of feeling their energies, because, but I don't know. I don't know. I that one I don't know. That's about the extent that I have on elementals. I'm sorry. I wish I could answer more. Share your story, Mama. Jeez. Oh, no. Don't feel bad, Trees. No. Don't feel bad. I just looked down and I was like, that was disrespectful. I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? I'm sorry. Because sometimes, you know, shit just pops out of my mouth, as you guys know. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I work with elementals, I feel very safe and protected. Is that a thing? Are you working with elementals or are you working with elements? Like, there's a difference between... Okay, so the elementals that I'm talking about are not the... In Wiccan tradition and in Wicca, in witchcraft, a lot of times the term elemental is used to talk about the different creatures that guard the four elements, you know, northwest, east, south. That wasn't in the correct direction. But, you know, the salamanders, the undines, the gnomes, like, they are called elementals. And so that is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the elementals for the quarters. You know, those are a totally different creature with a totally different element, or a totally different energy form. These are more of a ancient, extremely ancient energy. What if you go into the woods or a specific area and just feel a negative vibe randomly? It could be that there's something there that's warding you away, that's telling you not to come any closer. It could be a place that something bad happened where you where you're picking up on the negative vibes. It could be a spirit, like a human spirit that you're picking up on. It could be a lot of things. Oh, I'm sorry. Life is progress. That sucks. Like Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Who's Balrog from Lord of the Rings?
The big old fiery guy with the whip. And Gandalf's like, you
shall not pass. Oh my gosh. I get that feeling when I go into the bathroom with the light off. Girl, I get that feeling when I go anywhere with the light off. That's why earlier when Kevin was telling you guys about Skinwalkers and I ran down to get Aria's monitor, I was like booking it out of the hallway because I didn't turn any lights on and I ran into the door. The flame monster at the bridge. Gotcha. Oh, okay, I got confused for a second. I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry. That was actually a really good question because people were probably like, fuck, I've been working with elementals for years. What am I doing? No. It's totally, it's the same terminology, totally different beings. You know, if you use elementals in your work as far as calling in specific creatures for your elements, that's totally fine. That's not what I'm talking about. No, it's all good. Good night, Libby. Is Libby going away? Night, Libby. Night, Libby. I don't even see you. I didn't see that you said you were leaving, but bye. Yeah, I will not go into a dark bathroom. There have been a couple times when the power's gone out, the light has burnt out, and it is a huge issue. I've done that where I'm like, Kevin, you have to come with me. I keep the nightlight in your bathroom. That's fun. Ooh. All right. Well, we're rounding up on 10 o'clock. Well, 10 p.m. here. And we've been on here for a little over an hour and a half. We'll probably start wrapping it up here pretty soon. I did have a ton of fun, and I'm really glad that I was able to come on here and 9:52 here. Yeah, it is here too. 3 a.m. here. You go, Hayden. Hayden's up for the count. She's like, I am hanging out with everybody. No, Spirit Journeys, you're fine. You weren't late. Let me see. People say they shower in the dark. Stay away from these people. For real. I walked through the woods to my favorite meditation spot and passed through a spot that made me feel really sick. Yeah, you may have been passing through a spot where either something happened or something was there going, move along, please. Girl, I tell myself I'm the scariest thing that enters the vicinity. With that attitude, nothing scares me. Oh my God. So much fun. Sleep is for the weak. I'm an hour behind you. I remember me and my whole family went to see this cabin we were possibly buying. Go back in the car and all of us were like, nope, something's bad here. That's for real. That shit happens. I'm glad I didn't miss this, even though my friends did what they did. Y'all make me happy. I'm so glad you were able to come. I'm so glad. I'm really glad that you guys were able to be here and hang out with me. I was gonna show you, I did get my new deck. I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook that I was gonna go witchy shopping because there was a calling that I had that I was like, I need a new deck. I need a new deck. I need a new tarot deck. I need a new oracle deck. I need something. And I did find one. Maybe I will go live tomorrow because I haven't even opened it yet. So maybe I'll go live tomorrow and show you guys in a separate video so that people don't have to watch through 2 hours worth of video to see it. Do you still feel ick about your witchy room? Not really. No, I think that I felt ick about my witchy room because it was set up in a way that no longer served me, and so my my energy was like, we don't need this. So, I'm debating on my first tattoo, either my Pyperh's paw prints or something witchy. Oh, paw prints are adorable, but I do love my witchy tattoo, I gotta say that. But yeah, anyway, I'm so glad that we all got to hang out today. Ooh, okay, so next Witchy Wisdom is the 27th, which is fine. It's a Friday night, of course. Again, fantastic. So we're going to do the next part 2 to more folklore and stuff in July. So what do you guys want to talk about? April 27th. We got 2 weeks. What do y'all want to talk about? Vote, or give me some ideas and then we'll vote on 3. Teresa says Beltane. Jill, I'm stuck home. We're getting a big snowstorm. It's all icy and gross and I'm sick. Yeah, it's supposed to get bad here too with fucking snow. It's middle of April and we're supposed to get like 1.5 feet of snow. Beltane, another one for Beltane. What else do you guys want to talk about? You guys want Beltane? Because Beltane is coming. Take us on a live ghost chase. That would actually be fun if I was ever out ghost hunting. That would be fun to do like a live thing. Beltane, 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 Beltane. Different types of meditation in Beltane. Have you covered divination? I don't think we... Did we do a divination witchy chat? With different types of divination? I don't think we may have. I don't think we did. Like an actual
talk about it?
Full-on divination one where it was like, here's your pendulums, here's your runes, here's your tarot, here's your... I don't think we did. So there's that one. Witchy plants, Beltane, herbs. I think most people are going with herbs. If you're moved to Scotland, you can do a witchy wisdoms while we hunt down Nessie. I'm gonna take you up on that, Hayden. I swear to God, if I ever make it to Scotland, I'm gonna find you, and we're going to hunt down Nessie for a witchy wisdom episode. Herbs and Beltane. All right, so here's what we got, okay? Most people, it sounds like people have kind of been voting, but I'm going to put these out there. Pretend that you haven't said anything yet. We're going to vote right now. So you can vote between Beltane, herbs, and divination. Now remember, Beltane is May 1st. Well, April 30th, May 1st. So it'll be a few days after the episode. So we can do Beltane, herbs, divination. Then come troll hunting with me in Norway. Hell yeah! Beltane, 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 herbs, Beltane, Beltane. Beltane is one of my favorites too. I do have the Beltane book. Herbs or Beltane, 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 Beltane. Pretty sure that Sabbath's gonna win. Now, what I also need you guys to understand, now people are probably going to get saucy about this. Which we can, you know, the thing with Beltane is it's nice because you can bring up all the different kinds of things that has to do with Beltane. You know, you've got the lore behind it, you've got the meaning, you've got the different rituals, and you can bring divination and herbs into Beltane as well. Come snuggle with a Chupacabra here with me in the dirty south. Jesus. That's what I'm going to do. Kevin, we're going to go snuggle with Chupacabras. All right. So it sounds like pretty much overwhelmingly Beltane has won. Now, I want you guys to know that while I know Beltane and Samhain are interchangeable as far as Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, I'm going to be a little bit of a dick, and I'm just going to stick with Beltane. Because in order to try to explain both holidays and both Sabbats, it'll kind of cut out a ton from both of them. So if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you are celebrating Samhain, I love you dearly because Samhain is my absolute favorite. But I'm going to stick with Beltane for the Northern Hemisphere because that's where I live and that's what I'm celebrating. So don't hate me. And it doesn't sound like there's a ton of people that have really said much about being in the Southern Hemisphere. Not that people from the Southern Hemisphere don't watch, because I know they do. But that's what we're going to do. So April 27th, it's a Friday night, 8 p.m. We're going to join back here in my kitchen with my tea and my books and my stuff. I'm in South Carolina. Is that with Beltane? Yes. Below the equator is Samhain. So we're gonna, hi Alice. So we're gonna talk about Beltane in 2 weeks. Samhain is awesome too. Maybe we can do that on September 27th. We could also, we can do Samhain. I wonder what October 13th falls on. Because Samhain is great. Samhain is October 31st. So Samhain we can either do October 13th or October 27th. Depending on how prepared people want to be. Because they're both on a Saturday this year, the 13th and the 27th. So we may be able to, in October. Yeah, we're talking October. So yeah, we're gonna, that's what we're gonna do. Lover muffins. Thank you for hanging out with me for 2 hours. I don't know how many people are actually going to watch this because the first 22 minutes is me just talking about random ass shit. So people are gonna be like, fuck you, I'm turning this off. But for the people that did make it, and that do finish watching this, bless you for staying with us for the whole 2 hours. If I could give you $1, I would. If I could give you more than $1, I would, but I can't. Kevin, people are thanking you too for coming on and making a guest appearance. I'm so happy that you guys were all here. I had a ton of fun. I love talking about subjects that I'm super passionate about. As you can tell, it just makes all of us ramble. So I will see y'all Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for everybody that is going to be rewatching this, because if you made it to the end of this, you're a freaking rock star. If you made it to the end of this and you're still here, you should go to my Pyperh page and post a comment and be like, bitch, I made it. And I'll know what you mean. All right, so I will see you all. I'll see you all way earlier. I'm going to do another live video at some point, probably this weekend, showing you guys my new deck, because I haven't opened it yet. Excuse me. So 2 weeks, Friday, April 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to talk about Beltane. Bring all of your good Beltane goodies. We're going to talk about the holiday itself, the folklore behind it, you know, the god and goddess, what Beltane actually is all about, all the sexual goodness. We're going to talk about the different herbs, the colors, different rituals that you can perform, different crafts that you can do. We're gonna bust out all the stops for Beltane in order to make your Beltane ritual this year absolutely magical. So, y'all have a freaking awesome weekend. Put out some goodie prayers for me that I don't get called in and I can just stay home and have fun. And Teresa's gonna have another vodka and OJ. I feel weird with Easter because bunnies are the symbol of fertility. Yeah. Stay gorgeous and awesome. Oh, thank you. You guys are so nice. I look god-awful today, but I appreciate it. So, can we talk about what it is? Yes? Beltane? Is that what you're talking about? In 2 weeks? Because, yeah, we'll talk about what it is, what it means, what we're doing with it. Beltane is one of the major 8 Sabbats that is celebrated, and it's one of my favorites. It's the Fire Festival, and it has a lot to do with sex and fertility and dancing around the maypole. It does. I'm not giving them a live thing, Kevin. So, sorry. Jeez. On next week's episode, watch Krista and her husband get it on for Beltane.
Oh, come on.
I love your company. Make a maypole and dance, girl. It's not a stripper pole, Kevin. I did actually make a mini maypole the one year. It was a lot of fun. I made you know what? I'll make one. I'll make one and show you guys how to make it. It was really cute. It was like a pole. I think Flora showed me how to make it in her old channel. And then you had ribbons that dangle, and then you wrap it, because originally there's the big maypole, and you can make a little one for your altar, and it's super cute. I thought this was supposed to be starting now. No, Alice, we start at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we have been on here for 2 hours. And we are getting going. Because normally I'm out of here in an hour, and this one we had way too much fun with. Yeah, I know. I do too. I think a lot of her stuff is still up. I've been invited so many years. I should go this year. You should. According to Google, that is now my time. That's so weird. Yeah. It's really weird. Because I had it set for 8 p.m. I hope that nobody else missed it because I screwed something up. Charming Pixie Flora. I love all of her old videos. I know. Her and Tiptoe. They are the witches that started it all. I wonder if I could get Tiptoe to come on and do a joint witchy wisdom episode with herbs. Like for one of our next ones. Not the next one, but maybe like one in May. I wonder if I could get her to do it. I'll have to ask her. if she would want to come on and be like, girl, you want to come on for a night of witchy loveliness and do a, I don't know if you can do a YouTube, I don't know how to do it, if you have to do Google Hangout or if you can do a YouTube live thing with 2 YouTubers. I have no idea. But I'll have to ask her and see if she'd be down with that. Be like, the people from Witchy Wisdom really want to do an herbal episode, and we would absolutely love to have you come on. We'll see what she got. We'll see what she wants to do. I won't bug her quite yet. Alright, I should probably go. It's 10:07 here. I'm gonna go see what I want to do the rest of the night. I'm in the middle of reading a series. I don't want to do that. Or play some Call of Duty. Okay. I don't know how many times I have to say goodnight to you guys. I think it takes... it's like I'm getting off the phone with a new boyfriend. I'm like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Alright. Alright, lovies. Peepsy doodles. My lovely muffins. I am going to actually go now. This peppermint tea was really tasty. So I'm kind of happy about it. Makes your throat cool. Okay. Exiting out of this. Closing this up. It was obnoxious. Alright. I love you guys. I hope you have an awesome night and an awesome weekend. And I will see you probably sometime in the next couple days. To show off some of my new stuff. And I'll at least see you for the next Witchy Wisdom in 2 weeks. Thanks y'all for hanging out.